Mr. President.
Senator from New Mexico.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would ask the chair to notify me when 6 minutes is consumed.
The senator will be so notified.
Thank you, Mr. President. Last week, the Senate Budget Committee gave a green light to the Republican budget. A caution light, a yellow light, was more in order. It calls for $4.7 trillion in non-defense spending cuts over the next 10 years, and no increases in revenue. Where would those cuts come from? They would be piled on the backs of the middle class, the elderly, and children. They would cut the Earned Income Tax Credit, slash Medicare and Medicaid, child care, Head Start, education, public safety, law enforcement. And just for good measure, the Republican budget rolls back reforms on Wall Street, and on and on. All this and more to pay for lower taxes for millionaires and billionaires. When I first came to the Senate, our economy was in a free fall. We were losing 20,000 jobs a day, every day, thousands of jobs, gone. Our financial system was crashing. Deficits were at historic highs. That was 6 years ago. It has been a long road back. We asked the wealthy to pay their fair share. We passed long-needed reforms to Wall Street. We've seen 12 million more private sector jobs. The deficit cut in half. Wall Street at historic highs. Profits are up. Unemployment and deficits are down. That is the story. But it isn't over. We're not done yet. Not everyone has found solid ground. My state still faces great challenges. Many New Mexicans are still struggling, still pulling out of the worst recession in 75 years. How do we go forward? How do we build on the progress we have made? That's the questions the voters elected us to solve. The short answer is we have to work together. We have to get past the shutdowns and the showdowns. Politics is the art of standing your ground, but also finding common ground. That's why the Republican budget is so troubling. It doesn't start a conversation. It doesn't reach across the aisle. This budget is bad for working families, bad for the middle class, bad for our economy. It makes a U-turn right back to failed policies of the past. This budget says no to the middle class, no to the most vulnerable, no to the critical investments we know we need, but yes to lower taxes for hedge funds. It is Robin Hood in reverse, and it will hurt so many people who have suffered so much for so long. This is the wrong way to go at the worst possible time, because make no mistake about it, this budget is one big yes for those at the top and one big no for everybody else. In my state, 1 in 3 children are in poverty. For Native American children, it's even higher. It's 44%. 1 in 5 children goes to bed hungry. Their parents can't find adequate child care. They can't get quality medical care when they need it. They lack access to safe housing and clean water. This just isn't the case in New Mexico. We see it across the nation. Children and families falling behind. This has to change. The future, not just for our children, but for our economy, depends on changing it. We need to be doing more, but the Republican budget does less. It would cut programs for low-income children, seniors, and families up to $660 billion over 10 years, including SNAP and child nutrition programs. Healthy kids are an investment in our future economy. We need renewed commitment, not draconian cuts, to the programs that help children reach their full potential. That means infant and toddler care, preschool, and home visiting programs. We know that they work and they can help in a big way. A recent White House report tells the story. These programs make a difference, get results, and save money. More than $8 for every dollar invested. That's why I introduced the Saving Our Next Generation Act. We call it the SONG Act. We should fully pay for what works. That's why I'm a co-sponsor of the Pre-K Act, to expand high-quality early learning programs for children from birth to age 5. Children should be our priority. They should not take a back seat to billionaires. Neither should the elderly who depend on Medicare, not a voucher program. The Republican budget cuts $2.5 trillion from health care for low and moderate income people. Repealing the Affordable Care Act, block granting Medicaid, seniors would pay more for prescription drugs and more for preventive services. Crucial support for nursing care and home health care would be slashed. We have a lot to do to get America's economy back on track. The Republican budget at every turn fails to do it. A budget isn't just numbers. It's about choices and it's about priorities. That means investing in infrastructure. We have to upgrade our roads and manage our water resources. Federal dollars are almost half of New Mexico's total transportation budget and 70% of the funding for our highways and bridges. It means making sure we have an educated workforce, not cutting Pell Grants by 30%.
The senator has consumed 6 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I would ask that my statement be inserted in the record as if spoken.
Without objection.
Thank you very much, and yield the floor.